Hello friends, welcome to Inside Psychen Initiative. In this video, we are going to discuss about election process. You all know that in a democratic country like India, elections plays very important role and it is in the responsibility regarding the Election Commission of India related to conducting elections in free and fair manner. As a process of that, of course, Election Commission of India will face a lot of challenges. In this video, we are going to discuss about those kind of challenges. Here, challenges means it can be created by the fellow human beings or it can be the natural disasters challenges. Or sometimes during the election times, the participating candidates, they may die also in the participating process after filing the nomination or at any stage. So in these kind of elections or in these kind of circumstances, what the Election Commission does, what are the available options before Election Commission of India, and what are the various sections of the Representation of People Act is saying about these kind of situations. Now let us explore about all those kind of situations in this particular video. Okay, so this video title is about disruption of normal polling process, and learning objectives are context, then normal polling process when you consider the normal polling process as disrupted, intentional disturbances, booth capturing, natural disasters or other kind of disruptions, death of a candidate, and finally we will conclude. Of course, at the end of the video we will discuss about the MCQs. So in this video we will touch upon broad ideas such as Representation of People Act 1951 and Election Commission of India duty, and of course we will refer certain constitution provisions as well. Regarding the syllabus mapping, this particular topic is related to General Studies Mains Paper 2, that is Indian Polity and Governance. The context, ECI under the section 58 clause 2 and section 58A clause 2 of Representation of People Act 1951, it can declare a particular election as invalid. Of course, this kind of decisions are already taken by Election Commission of India in this particular election. You know that this election is going to happen in 7 phases. In the first phase, which was concluded in April 19, due to violence in Manipur and Arunachal Pradesh, around 19 polling stations, violence recorded. Because of that, ECI announced that there is going to be repolling happen in those kind of polling stations. And one more bad thing is, in Madhya Pradesh, Betul Lok Sabha constituency, there the candidate died. Because of that, elections are adjourned in that particular constituency. Okay, so this is about the context. Now, for better understanding of this video, let me explain some concepts. Okay, so these concepts are okay. Let me explain few concepts. First, here you have to know that we use the word very frequently, constituency. Constituency. This very frequently we will use. Constituency means, remember, wherever you use the territorial constituency plus first past the post, there this word constituency will be, relevant. The boundaries of the constituency, the reservations of the constituency will be determined by the delimitation commission. Delimitation commission. So obviously here one question to you. The question is, what is the nature of the delimitation commission? Whether it is a statutory body or constitutional body, and how many times delimitation commission constituted so far. Next, one more thing is, in a particular constituency, elections in a particular constituency, it consists of several polling stations. Okay, if you are from a small to medium sized village, you may have one polling station in your village. If you are from the larger area, then obviously you will see multiple polling station in your village or in your town. Polling station. In each polling station, you have number of polling booth. Polling booth. You have to know this nomenclature. Otherwise, you won't understand what is the meaning of the booth capture. This is the process and structure. And who are the responsible officers in the election generally? Generally, election responsibility will be the presiding officer and the returning officer. Presiding officer, PO, he will report to returning officer, he will report to chief electoral officer, and he is responsible to Election Commission of India. Actually, Election Commission of India, it has the representative in every state. They are CEO, Chief Electoral Officer. And of course, in the state level, you will have State Election Commissioner as well. But the State Election Commissioner generally deals with the election related to local governments. Okay, this is the points you have to understand. And in India, elections will be conducted by two laws primarily. These two laws are Representation of People Act 1950 and Representation of People Act 1951. These two laws regulates elections in India. This particular video, we mainly concerns with the Representation of People Act 1951 because it deals with the unexpected conditions in elections. Now first we'll see, already we discussed about the context, when the normal polling process will be disrupted. That means in which condition you consider the polling process is disrupted. When damage to EVMs, booth capturing, natural disasters or the candidate death. These following four conditions considered as disruption to the normal polling process. When that kind of disruption happens, polling may be adjourned or polling may be completely cancelled out and a repolling will be conducted. Here one question to you. If a candidate death occurs, what will happen? Okay. The point here you have to understand at which situation, at which point of time the candidate death happened, that matters a lot. For example, in election, in every election, elections start with the election notification. Election notification. Then it followed with the filing of nomination. Filing of nomination papers. Filing of nomination papers. And after candidates filed their nomination papers, after the deadline, there will be one deadline. Deadline. Okay. Now, death of the candidate, if happens before the deadline, okay, before submitting the deadline, death of candidate, there is one procedure will be followed, and if the death of the candidate happens after the deadline, another process will be followed. And of course, this entire process applicable only to candidate from the recognized party. Candidate from recognized party. You know that parties will be recognized either as a state party or as a national party. Recognized parties. Okay. If in case independent candidate or candidate from non-recognized party, if they died, elections will not be impacted. Okay. So if the candidate death happens before the deadline, then party has to suggest alternative candidates within 1 week. If the death occurs after the deadline of the nomination papers, then obviously the election will be adjourned. So that you have to understand. Now we'll see the other kind of disruption to elections. Section 58 of Representation of People Act 1951, it is saying that due to the damage, loss or tampering to EVM or unauthorized person takes away EVM, then if someone destroy the EVM, if there is a mechanical failure in the EVM, all those issues will be dealt by Section 58 of Representation of People Act 1951. In this kind of situations, the returning officer immediately informed to the Election Commission of India, and EC will take the appropriate decision whether to postpone the election or whether to completely cancel the election. In case if they postpone the election, by the time if some voters already exercise their vote, then in the next, whenever the elections conducted on the new date, only those voters who did not exercise their vote at the first time, that means in the previous time, they will be allowed. That means, for example, in a particular polling station, around 10,000 votes are there. After 5,000 votes were polled, due to some violence, the polling in that particular polling station got cancelled out. Then whenever the election conducted in that particular polling station, only rest of the 5,000 people were allowed, not the entire 10,000. That you have to understand. Next, Section 135A of Representation of People Act 1951, it deals with the unauthorized entry into the polling station or stopping voters coming into the polling booth. So that kind of situation, and allowing only certain supporters to vote. So all these kind of activities comes under booth capturing. So particularly the booth capturing procedure deals by Section 135 of Representation of People Act 1951. actions. Here presiding officer will inform to the returning officer and returning officer will inform to the CEO. Then they will decide what kind of action they have to take. Okay. Next, natural disaster are the other kind of disruptions. In case natural disasters or loss or damage to essential polling material or riots, technical issues with the EVMs. In these kind of situations, section 57 clause 1 of RPA Act 1951, it deals with these kind of particular situations. Okay. Again, the process is same. Presiding officer informed to RO and RO informed to CEO. Regarding the death of the candidate, section 52 of RPA Act 1951, it deals with the situation arises because of the death of the candidate. Regarding the death of the candidate, I clearly explained it depends on at what time the death happens and the candidates belong to whether the recognized party or unrecognized party. Based on that, action will be followed. Conclusion. These kind of fast responses from Election Commission of India is indicating what? Is indicating that the efforts from Election Commission of India to ensure free and fair elections. Now, yesterday's video question. Which of the following statement is not correct about the National Human Rights Commission? The chairman and members of this commission are appointed by the Supreme Court of India. It is not a correct statement. Next, let's see today's video question. In today's video, under the Constitution, a person shall be disqualified from being elected as a member of Parliament if. So read these following three statements and pick the right one. Mains question. Evaluate the role of Election Commission of India in ensuring the level playing field in election and what kind of measures we can take to address certain concerns in elections, such as money power and government machinery in favor of the ruling party, how these issues can be addressed. This is the mains question. As we reach to the end of this video, we will do some quick revision. In this video, we mainly discuss about there are certain disruptions will happen, of course, and how the Election Commission of India will deal that kind of disruptions. Relevant provisions also we covered in this video. Apart from that, we also discuss about very specifically what happens if a death of a candidate will happen and what is the meaning of booth capturing. So these are the details we covered in this particular video. I hope this video is useful to you. Thanks for watching this video. Have a great day. Jai Hind.